you gorgeous and sexy soul. Welcome to Practice Intimacy. This is the place to be to learn all about love, sex, and how to have the best relationships you possibly can. My name is Jami Lynn. I'm a marriage and family therapist. And what I wanted to talk to you about today was a proverb that my Tantra teacher taught me in one of our very first meetings, and how I continued to use this little proverb to help myself stay in curiosity and openness. And so let's get started. I remember when my Tantra teacher told me this, she laughed and she was like, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but sit with it. What does it mean to you? And so the words that she said were, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And I don't know where she first heard that, but I've heard this phrase multiple times, and who knows where it originally came from. But believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. And initially, whenever you hear that statement, it sounds kind of pessimistic, right? Almost like I can't trust myself, I can't trust the world, whatever that thought might bring up inside of you. But really, whenever you start digging into this statement, I don't think of it as pessimistic. I think of it as true and really, really helpful for catching yourself in storytelling, in biases, in your own unconscious perceptions of the world that might be getting in the way of you actually interacting with reality. So let's talk about why that might be true. The hard and fast rule of only believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, it's not saying actually follow this and believe it to a T. No, it's just saying doubt your reality a little bit. Don't be so sure you know what's going on. Go outside of certainty and instead live in beginner's mind, curiosity, openness. And why does that matter? Why would that be important? Well, the reality is we are all living in an imperfect machine. Our brain, our body, it is an imperfect machine that attempts to make guesses about what might be true based on all of our previous experience, which is actually a really good thing. Because if I did not have all of the previous experience stored in my head, I'd be walking through life unable to really function. I would see a chair, have no idea what it is, and have to explore it every single time I see it to make sure that it's not a threat. Whereas, because I have a bunch of stored information about what to expect from the world, I'm able to move through it pretty quickly. But here's the problem. When your brain stores information and holds it to be true, for you, it feels as true as gravity. Your perception of the world, the lens through which you view life, feels true to you. I'm thinking about so many different clients, myself also, like human beings in general. Think of all the different potential beliefs we could hold about ourselves that would feel absolutely true, even if they're not. I think the most common one I come across in my work is a belief about unworthiness. The thought for the person might be something like, I'm thinking of very specific people. One person said, I'm a piece of shit. Another person said, I'm garbage, and people will always treat me like garbage. And when you genuinely believe that, because of the experiences you've had in life, it feels absolutely true, and no one can convince you otherwise. I'm thinking of another client who's beautiful and thinks that they are so unattractive. And if you ever were to tell them, no, you're actually very, very gorgeous, cannot take it in because it's not true inside of them. And so just thinking about our imperfect machine in these terms, that once I believe something, once I have built it into my nervous system as a neural network holding some particular truth about the world or myself, The way we often talk about this in neuroscience is meaning making. Once I have made a particular meaning about myself or the world, it feels absolutely true. And so this statement, this proverb that says, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, is a offering to go, wait a minute. Is what I'm telling myself actually true? Or could it be otherwise? Could it be different than what I believe? I wonder what that would be like if I didn't have the thought that I'm a piece of shit, or I didn't have the thought that I'm not enough, or I didn't have the thought that I am garbage and not worthy of love and affection and that people will just throw me away. Who would I be if I did not have those thoughts? It's just a way of not tricking your brain, because we don't need to trick our brain, but we do need to almost like internally hack this machine that's doing its job, but imperfectly. It's doing its job of prediction and interaction with the environment, but often based on old learning rather than the truth as it is today. Is this making sense? Leave me comments below. I want to make sure that this is clear because this is actually super important. Coming into practices that help you doubt your own mind and the stories that your mind tells you is so important if you want to move towards greater intimacy, greater love in this lifetime. Because the stories we tell ourselves are almost always an attempt to protect you from experiencing pain that you've experienced in the past. If I am prepared, because I'm telling myself that I'm not good enough, if I am prepared for people to reject me, then it won't hurt as much. Not true, but that's what our brain thinks. That's how we're built to think. And then as soon as you have that meaning imprinted inside of you that says, I'm not good enough, and people will leave me because I'm not good enough, what usually ends up happening is you create the reality that you're telling yourself. Expectation turns into almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you're expecting it, you'll act in ways that would bring about the very thing you're afraid of. And so instead, if you can start coming into more openness, more curiosity, more possibility, rather than just the limited belief systems that have become part of you based on your history, then your life can change. You can have the joy, the intimacy, the turn on, the freedom that you want to experience in your life. I hope you found this helpful. Please leave me comments, leave me questions, tell me how this is landing with you, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I will see you next time. Bye for now.